Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. I have a nephew and another friend that are getting married. I needed a couple of wedding presents. What better wedding present for their wives than a ring holder? This design actually I like a lot because it has a dish for various items that they may want to put, as well as a spindle that a ring can be put on. The dish is oriented so that it is deepest out near the edge so that anything put in it actually stays closer to the outer edge. I think it's a great wedding present, and I had a chunk of olive wood. It wasn't in great shape. I tried filling it. I wasn't totally successful yet, especially on this one, but yet it's pretty enough to give and pretty enough that it could not go into the fireplace. So for now, let's go ahead and turn these two ring holders from olive.
This olive wood came from Arizona. I am not sure how long it had been since it was cut before I got it. This piece has significant cracks that I will fill with epoxy and brass powder. After turning other olive pieces from the same batch, the figure was so pretty that I could not let it go to waste. Now I have pressed the wood against my pin faceplate. The points of the screws keep the wood stable with the pressure from the live center. I'm using my large bowl gouge to start shaping the exterior and bottom. As the wood is revealed, the figure starts to show off. This will be worth it. Of course, I need to cut a mounting tenon just beyond the sapwood into solid figured wood. Now I can reverse the bowl to trim back the top and hollow the interior. Again, I am starting with my large bowl gouge. The difference between this ring holder and the bowl is the shape of the interior. A standard bowl is a continuous curve from rim to center to opposite rim. However, for jewelry, I want the lowest part of the bowl portion a little away from the center and a bump in the interior that will do dual duty of holding the center tenon and forcing small items out towards the rim. It is a little tricky to reverse the cut on that center bump. I resorted to my skew to refine the convex portion of the bump curve. The last thing to do is to drill a mortise for the central tenon, then sand. For a typical bowl, I would reverse the bowl again to address the foot. In this case, I have a center hole for that tenon. I'm going to use that hole with a sort of jam chuck, a tenon mounted on a threaded wood faceplate. I have to trim the tenon a little to fit, then the live center provides insurance pressure. At the last moment, I remove the live center to cut off the final nub, then sand. Now to apply walnut oil for a finish. Grain pops even more with the oil. Now for the spindle, again from olive wood. The shape will be simple. Topmost is a small diameter spindle for a small ring size. Below that, the wood flares out to hold the ring, but stays smaller than the bump in the bowl portion. At the bottom is a tenon to fit the hole in the middle of the bump. After roughing the spindle, I cut and size the tenon to fit before reversing it into a long-nosed chuck. This is a great chance for some skew practice on the gentle curve. Actually, I do all the shaping now while still between centers. After reversing into the chuck, it does not take much to trim the end before sanding the spindle. With the wood pulled out a little from the chuck, I can apply walnut oil for the finish. The little bit of eccentric motion does not bother finishing. 2 wedding presents finished. These are perfect for weddings since they are unique and personal and useful. While I cannot always get olive wood, this time the olive wood worked perfectly despite its defect. I do hope the brides enjoy them. I probably cannot miss with olive wood. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, and tell your friends. I appreciate your comments and questions. Every week I make a new wood turning video and add it to my website. As usual, I appeal for you to wear your full face shield for safety anytime the lathe is running. I will see you next week with another wood turning video. Be wise in these COVID times. Try not to think about your problems. Instead, count your blessings and try to stay healthy.